We have some major updates to talk about in today's episode of the Rams Digest. We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford and what Adam Schefter of ESPN says that the current situation is for the Rams and the Rams quarterback. We're also going to talk about a future quarterback possibly playing for the Rams, why this quarterback may have interest in coming to the Rams if the Matthew Stafford situation doesn't work out in LA. And we're also going to talk about Puka Nacua and why people are saying he may be a future Triple Crown winner, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and press that subscribe button now, as 74.8% of you guys are roughly around there are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. Remember, it doesn't cost you a thing to subscribe, so do me a favor and press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, right off the bat, we're going to talk about some Adam Schefter, Shefty updates. We're going to hear what he has to say about the current situation in Los Angeles. And I've been talking about this last couple of days, last couple of weeks, the rocky situation with the Rams. And it's gotten to a point where it is kind of almost a daily occurrence on the national media side of things because it is a very intriguing scenario. It's kind of like a domino falling. I think if the Rams do knock that domino over of not working out a contract with Matthew Stafford, all of a sudden we're talking about where is he going to get traded to. If he does get traded, that quarterback spot is taken up now, and what do the Rams do at quarterback and the trade market? And there's a lot of different things that can go into place depending on this situation with the Rams, which is why I think so many people like Adam Schefter are paying attention to the situation. So Adam Schefter came out and said Matthew Stafford, Rams have mutual new contract goal amid all these rumors of trades and all that good stuff. So we'll read straight from the article here as it says, there's still some uncertainty regarding Matthew Stafford's immediate future, but the veteran quarterback and Los Angeles Rams reportedly have a goal in place where he would finish his NFL career with the NFC West team. Here's a quote here. It says he's due $35 million this year. None of it's guaranteed. This is coming from Adam Schefter as he's explaining this in a video. It's up to those two sides to figure out a number that the Rams can live with, and from Matthew Stafford, one that he is more comfortable with that would enable him to continue and finish his NFL career playing with the Rams. That's the goal, I believe, of both sides. Now that could change rather quickly. And I think that last little note there from Adam Schefter is kind of important, right? He's essentially saying that, yes, that's the goal, right? The Rams themselves are sitting there saying, we would love to work this out. Don't want to pay Matthew Stafford $50 million, but we would love to make this happen so Stafford can retire a Ram, right? He's a legend. He's the quarterback, so he's the leader of the team. A lot of fans have invested interest in that quarterback and watching him finish his career in LA. He's still got some game left, arguably a top 10 quarterback still in the game today. So all that being said, of course, the Rams would love to keep him, but they want to keep him not for $50 million. Matthew Stafford, after all he's done for the Rams, after all he's done for the organization, for the community, winning a Super Bowl here, would love to play for $50 million, I'm sure. So that's kind of the scenario that we're at. Of course, both would love to stay in LA. Of course, both don't want to deal with the craziness of answering questions about trades, of what you get in return for Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford having to go to a new team, new organization, move his whole family. I mean, there's a lot of things that they just don't want to deal with ultimately, right? His family, I'm sure, doesn't want to. I'm sure Stafford himself doesn't want to deal with it. And so overall, that's kind of the goal here. They want to make this happen in Los Angeles. Can they make it happen for a number that's comfortable for both sides? That's kind of where the conversation gets a little bit muddy. Don't know how much the Rams want to pay Matthew Stafford, but I'm pretty sure it's not $50 million. Otherwise, he'd probably be under contract already for that much amount of money. So that's kind of where things are getting a little bit rocky and muddy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But in the event that this does not work out, Adam Schefter also wanted to point out, and it's something we've talked about on the channel already before, so don't freak out about it. It's nothing new here. But Adam Schefter thinks Aaron Rodgers would be thrilled to play for the Rams. Now, I get it. A lot of Rams fans out there are probably not the biggest fans of Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers at this point in time hasn't shown many people that he can still play football at a very, very high level. We just saw what he did with the Jets and just kind of had a really, really bad kind of last couple of years with the injury and last year not being too great himself. And they got Devontae Adams and it still didn't really work out. And so ultimately, Aaron Rodgers to the Rams doesn't really sound appealing to many Rams fans, but I also do think that you have to remember, we are talking about this in the hypothetical scenario that Stafford doesn't return to the Rams, right? If he wants that $50 million contract and someone else is willing to give it to him, you trade him, all of a sudden, now you need a quarterback. Of course, you want to draft one, but no one's going to put you in a good position to win now, except for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I talked about possibly Derek Carr and the Kirk Cousins of the world. I mean, it's not really ideal in terms of the alternative options from Stafford when we're talking about veteran quarterbacks, but that is the real scenario if the Rams move on from Matthew Stafford. And so the details here from Shefty go as such. Here's the quote from him. He says, if the Rams couldn't get a deal done with Stafford, if they decide to trade him, a lot of ifs involved then Aaron Rodgers, in my mind, would be thrilled with the idea of going to Los Angeles. Now, another important note here, Adam Schefter saying that's probably a great situation, a great idea for Rodgers in Adam Schefter's mind. It's not Aaron Rodgers coming out blatantly and saying, I want to play for the Rams. Let me figure out how I can play for the Rams. And so that's kind of where things are getting a little bit, also, it's take everything with a grain of salt at this point. It's all we've been doing the last couple of weeks. And some people have been getting frustrated about the stories and the non-stories. And I understand it. But at the same time, this is, like I said, I keep saying over and over again, this is a very intriguing scenario, right? That can go left and right any day, right? We can wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden things got sour between Matthew Stafford and the Rams. We can wake up tomorrow, he can have an extension. And so I think that's kind of where we are very intrigued in a scenario. If ESPN is talking about it, if Adam Schefter's talking about it, it's on the radar of the national media, then obviously this is a very big story that we want to kind of keep an eye on and get updates as every single day if we can. And that's where the update is right now. Both sides, they're reaching a goal, they're trying to, but if it goes sideways, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe someone else at quarterback. We'll see what happens with the Rams moving forward. I want you guys to give me your prediction now. It's February 18th as I'm recording this video. I'm probably posting this video. Give me your prediction as of February 18th of who the quarterback will be for the Los Angeles Rams next season. Is it Matthew Stafford, somebody else? Let me know in the comments below your prediction. Moving on from that, another Rams Triple Crown coming. Very, very interesting conversation to have here. Why are we talking about Triple Crown winnings? Why are we talking about this scenario? For those who don't know what a Triple Crown is, essentially it's a player who is, as a receiver, is a leading receiver in terms of receptions in the NFL, leading in terms of receptions, yards, receiving yards in the NFL, and then receiving touchdowns. If you lead all three categories in the same season, you are a Triple Crown winner. A very, very select few receivers in NFL history have done that. Most recently, or one of the most recently, Cooper Kupp doing it back in 2021, I believe. We'll talk about his stats right now in a second, but there are people coming out with a story here saying that, hey, maybe one day Rams Puka Nacua could be on the verge of a Triple Crown season, considering the impending departure of Cooper Kupp and the history of Matthew Stafford. Rams receiver Puka Nacua could once again make history. And so that's kind of where the conversation is. It's not anything special here. It's just kind of acknowledging, hey, right, if the Rams seemingly go through with the plan that seems to be there right now and move on from Cooper Kupp, then all of a sudden Puka Nacua is not only the number one receiver for sure, no question. Not that he wasn't already, but there was a little bit of hesitation to say that, right, coming off of Cooper Kupp's incredible career. And so now it's official, kind of, Puka Nacua is receiver number one, no surprises there. He may be the only receiver for Matthew Stafford next season, right, in terms of only reliable number one consistent option, right? No disrespect to anybody else on the roster who may be on the roster next season, but at this moment in time, if you trade Cooper Kupp, you're looking at the DeMarcus Robinsons of the world, the Tutu Atwells if he resigns, right? So those are the names you're talking about. So Puka Nacua could be in a position to just get all the targets. And even with Cooper Kupp there last year, we saw him eating 10, 12, 15 targets a game sometimes. And so that's kind of the interesting point I think they're trying to make here, is that in this story, what can we see from Puka Nacua without Cooper Kupp, without any real competition in terms of receiving numbers? Yes, he'll be double teamed and guarded differently by other teams, but if Matthew Stafford's going to keep feeding him the ball and quick out routes, quick slants, and plays like that, he's going to eat up a lot of yards, a lot of receptions, a lot of targets, and overall could be in the running for the next Triple Crown season. Now, for those who don't remember the recent history, since 1966, I'll say, these are the rest of the winners. So from 66 to 90, there was no Triple Crown winners, as far as I know, as far as this Wikipedia page has told me. So from 1990 to 2024, there have been 5 Triple Crown winners in history. Jerry Rice, Sterling Sharp, Steve Smith Sr., Cooper Kupp back in 2021, and Jamar Chase. By the way, Cooper Kupp in 2021, look at those numbers. 145 receptions, blows everybody on this page out the water. 1,947 yards, blows everybody on this page out the water. Jamar Chase, I guess, kind of close to that, but 200 yards off is pretty big, pretty significant. It's 16 touchdowns on the year, almost blows everybody out the water except for Jamar Chase. So overall, incredible numbers to expect out of a guy like Puka Nacua. But you're talking about fantasy football wise, for those of you who play fantasy football, for those who pay attention to the stats and like the numbers, this could be very, very nice for Puka Nacua statistically next season. Seeing Cooper Kupp exit the building via a trade, seeing a rookie receiver come in and play alongside him, Puka Nacua, if he has Matthew Stafford at quarterback especially, will be eating up a whole lot of targets, a whole lot of receptions, and a whole lot of yards. We'll have to wait and see what the touchdowns can get up to that 15, 16, 17 range. But overall, if he does, we're looking at a possibility of the Rams having two receivers, not just one, two receivers in the last 6 years to win a Triple Crown, potentially. Not going to try to put that pressure on Puka Nacua. Not that it really matters. Triple Crowns don't really matter in terms of winning Super Bowls. That's all we care about. But it's interesting to see that that's definitely a possibility for Puka Nacua moving forward. Last but not least, trivia of the day. Before we exit the video, I do a trivia every single episode that I'm on, so do me a favor and stay tuned to every episode, at the end of the episode, so you guys can guess and play along with the trivia of the day. Last trivia of the day looked like this. Here was the question. We were talking about, at the age 34, who became the youngest player to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If we go back to that question posed, we had a multiple choice option as well. Those multiple choice guesses were A, Jim Brown, B, Gale Sayers, C, John Elway, or D, Barry Sanders. We did have one person guess. Were they correct? And shout out to my boy Daniel. He's been guessing. Oh, here are the multiple choice options, by the way. Shout out to my boy Daniel, who's been guessing every single episode, the last couple episodes, it feels like. The only one who responded to the trivia questions. Daniel, we appreciate you here. I appreciate you for sure, because I'm not doing this for no reason, so I appreciate you responding to the trivia. He guessed D, Barry Sanders. That was his guess, and I have to go ahead and give you a pat on the back. Unfortunately, Daniel, that was incorrect. Thank you for guessing, and thank you for not cheating and going back and editing your comment or just Googling the answer and seeing if you're correct. You're guessing. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And I appreciate that, Daniel, and I respect it. So shout out to Daniel for giving us that guess. But we're going to move into the correct answer. Oh, well, that's the next trivia of the day. But the question and the answer was not Barry Sanders. The answer was, ding, 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 Gale Sayers. He was the youngest player at age 34 to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. A little fun fact for you guys if you guys didn't know that. Youngest player inducted into the Hall of Fame, Gale Sayers at age 34. So shout out to Daniel for guessing. For those who haven't guessed yet or want to figure out how you can play along, go ahead and play along with today's today's trivia of the day. Here is the question. You guys can go ahead and type your answers once you get them. In 1993, the post-touchdown celebration called the Lambeau Leap was invented by what Packers defensive star? I'll give you guys a few seconds. Think about your answer. Type a comment. Make a guess. Here is your multiple choice. Here we go. A, George Teague. B, Gilbert Brown. C, Leroy Butler. Or D, Reggie White. Oh, that'd be nice if I had my face up there. I don't. Or the question up here. So again, in 1993, celebration, the Lambeau Leap. Who created it? What defensive star was the first one to ever do it and create the celebration to be a historic celebration for the Green Bay Packers moving forward? Was it A, George Teague? Was it B, Gilbert Brown? Was it C, Leroy Butler? Or was it D, Reggie White? Go ahead and type your comments down below. Give me your trivia guesses. If you get it right, Daniel got it wrong, but we shouted him out because he's the only one that played. If you guys get it right, we'll go ahead and shout you out on the next episode, give you the answer on the next episode. I want to give you guys a chance to type out your answers without cheating and fast forwarding to the answer. So stay tuned for the next episode to give you guys an answer for this trivia there. Thank you guys for tuning in today's episode. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and press that subscribe button now. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.